Hey, what's good? Cammygbr. We are here. Before we start this video, real quick, shout out Benny P. He's managed to recover quite a lot of lost battles through the great purge that happened recently. The playlist that he made is going to be in this video in the description. Check it out. If you're a battle rapper, it's worth checking to see if there's any videos of yours that are still there. Try and recover them, re-upload them as you can. I would check it out. Also, I hope you guys have enjoyed Battle Rap Tic-Tac-Toe in the first episode. Excuse all these. I've got some lights going on, so if there's a green light that hit my face, is what it is. I hope you're enjoying the Battle Rap Tic-Tac-Toe first episode. There's another 4 of them to go. Another 4. Shout out Tom as fucking always. We're hoping to do something at some point soon. Me and Tom always talk about doing things, but I think we're procrastinators by nature. So shout out Tom and shout out fucking Caps, Tony Bro, Bloodstroke, and Crumpet for the rest of the series too. It's a banger. That being said, let's talk Apex. What the fuck am... Whatever.
I must not give in to these fantasies of weakness. Doubtless this is some charm laid on me by an evil shaman, evil sorcerer. Only the chase has meaning. It's meaning.
Yeah. Keep running. Yo. Look, I'm in the outback where it's spooky. Wildcats still pursue me like owls do to the rats and the clouds do when I'm moody. Proud dads to Suzuki's, you backed out and amuse me. I'm good hair from I tear your whole crown flat. From I'm in the outback with no neighbors, giant snakes and the gators. You feel fear in your veins ever since the moment you came in. Heat raises the stakes and baked meat is the fragrance. I reign here from a day you to doubt that. From I'm in the outback with my chest out, I'm the best out. Who's next? Put you through the test, do to chew your neck out. When you eat through tube and bed bound, from I eat mountains for breakfast. Keep rounds to these
Yo, shout out to everybody out there who's watching this. Subscribe to the channel. We're doing big things. My man Cammy. It's your man Cass, aka Angry Fan Man. We up
Before
out
we
of here.
talk about the battles, let me explain how this is kind of going to go down real quick. I am just going to go through every single battle rapper by name, and then I'm going to put down the most likely match. So, like, you might hear the same name more than once. It's more that I'm just running through the list of names and then putting in they should be battling this person. And if there's already a battle up there that's like they're already going to do, then I'll have another pick. Basically, somewhere in there is a card that I believe will be the Apex card. That also leads me into Battle Rap Sweepstakes. We've currently got something going on just now. Shout out Shan as always. It's basically you put £5 in, you bet, you guess the matches in the secret match, and if you get the most, you're getting the money. Sounds pretty good, right? So check that description as well, just to be like Battle Rap Shan, boom, and then hit her up and let her know that you want to do the sweepstakes, all that jazz. It'll all be there. There'll be a picture in the description for a link or whatever. Just hit up Battle Rap Shan. Now, what's also going on here, before we talk about the battles I think that'll happen, is Prem Battles is talking about this is the last big event of the year. I'm a little worried. Like, you know, what's a battle rap year without the plug? I feel like it's been taken away. You know, but these things happen. So, like, I'm hoping that this is going to be a big card. This needs to be, like, as everyone is potentially saying, this needs to be the card. You know, the matchups can be there, absolutely. You know, this needs to go out in a bang. Everyone's talking about possibly people retiring after this event, and I'm like, God damn, not yet. No. Everyone needs their own rollout before retirement. Don't just walk away from us. Don't just leave the milk. Come with us. Like, let us know that you're gone, and then we can forget you. Don't just walk away when we want more of you. Come on. But there's a lot of people talking about it, and it's scaring me. I know Battle Rap's going to be on this weird transition phase, I guess, for the next year. So, that being said, unless there's a big event with no loose chat or Don't Flop makes another return at the end of the year, guess we better talk about the last big event of the year. Let's do it. All right, let's start off with Arc. If I'm thinking that Arc has a battle that would be a good one for him, I was mulling my head over this, thinking of all these different types of battles and whatnot, because Arc has quite a lot of people that he could battle. But you know who I think would be good for him the most? I think Vizual, man. I think with Vizual's the new guy that can go toe to toe. So like in a level of aggression, like Viz can match Arc in wordplay, punches. You know, in a lot of areas, Vizual can keep up with Arc, and I think that the level of intensity that could come from that match might actually be something that carries on. Like it's something that'll be felt on the camera, because not that the two don't like each other or anything like that, it's just neither of them play. Because I was over here thinking like sort of, you know, like Arc and Slimbuck and Arc and Maverick, and I think as great as they would be, I want someone to go really grit their teeth in. And, you know, if it gets a little pushy, let's just ride it out, you know? If it gets a bit aggressive, that's what we're like. So, I think this would be the most likely for Arc. But if I'm to then say who's going to win this battle, it's difficult because, you know, Viz is on a return, and apart from maybe Arc, maybe one other battle rapper, there's not too much of a reason for Viz to return. Like, if he's gracefully bowed out, it's only a few that he's going to come back for, and it must be a name. So, and I think Arc is maybe one of the few that's like, okay, I'll come back for Arc, because Arc's a bit of a prize fight, in a way. Like, if you're a new guy, because Arc doesn't do this that often and provides the opportunities like others might. This is more like other people would do it, and it's having this opportunity is a great opportunity. So if it is Viz and Arc, who would win? Fuck, this is difficult. Tell you what, I'll go with Arc 2-1, because I think if we get into the freestyle bag a little bit, I think that's just kind of one feather extra that Arc has on top of Vizual. But, you know, not that it would be like a mirror match in styles and aggression, but I think there'll be a lot of similarities that'll make this battle really interesting. But 2-1 Arc, just for the extra feathers on the hat. Bizzo Bond. So, Bizzo has a good few matches. You get a Bizzo versus Quill. You could have Bizzo. You know, you could probably run back Bizzo versus Cojay, Bizzo Maverick. You know, Slimbuck. You know, there's a good few matches for him there. Sean Kray possibly. However, I know I've just brought up the guy's name, but if there's any battle that I would say that Bizzo probably has coming, I think it's Arc. I think that's the most likely one for Bizzo, but this one's like a completely different style to the Frankie Frazier. This is someone that's not going for the pen. This isn't someone that's going to play by the standards that Bizzo Bond usually does. This is the battle. This is the back and forth. That's more of what's going on there, rather than just well, I'm just going to rap and you're going to rap and it's going to be great. This is, I'm going to beat you and I'll show you the difference. I'll show you that I'm the best. And it's like a proper, instead of a showcase, it's becoming more of a competition. And, you know, this is where Arc thrives. And so does Bizzo with the amount of title matches and whatnot. He does thrive on this sort of thing. But Arc has a competitive gene to him. However, how far is Arc willing to go in comparison to Bizzo? Because Bizzo will go into them dark spots if he has to, lean into difficult angles. He can push a button or two if he really wants to. So can Arc then either rebuttal that and be, you know, not compos mentis, but not think too much about an angle that Bizzo would take? Or is Bizzo going to get over the aggression? Because Ark can be quite overbearing. It's been a few battles now that Ark has been like, hiya, you know what I mean? There's been a few. So, Ark versus Bizzo, if that then happens, do you want to know what? We'll go Bizzo 2-1. Bizzo 2-1, and that's not for any other reason other than I just think that Bizzo, there's more of a point to prove here for him than Ark, where Ark is, you know, if Ark wins this is a big thing for Ark, but is Ark going to go for the title? You know, like this is Bizzo Bonds trying to be on this Roman Reigns type run, where he's just back without having a title, battling who he wants, and it adds to the record if he wins. But is this something that Ark is too worried about? You know, Ark's just like on a one-to-one basis, Ark's very competitive, absolutely. But in the bigger scheme of things, I think Bizzo's maybe a little more aware of where his standing is in the culture and how far where he's to go next and what he plans to do. Bizzo's got a clearer path than Ark. That's maybe the best way to explain it. So Tony D. If Tony D is to battle anyone, I was going through this in my mind, going, right, Tony D, there's battles to have for Tony D, but on his end, what makes sense? Now, it's Apex, and it's Premier Battles. They're going to have a Manchester, London type dynamic somewhere in the card. They always do, right? They always do. And I was thinking, God, when did Cojay and Tony D happen? A very long time ago. And on Kojay's own league that he tried out for a little bit, you know, that came to pass. This Cojay now, with like the last year doing the freestyle 1 a day till 100k, you know, the 2-on-2, you know, the run that he's on now, you know, the one thing that Cojay doesn't have is the veteran. Like, if he's going for that UK Battler of the Year, that's the one thing Cojay doesn't have. It's Kray G Black T Tech. Does not have this big veteran to kind of put the bow on it. So I went over Tony D. It doesn't cement it, but it definitely adds to the wins and losses. It adds to the record for Battler of the Year. And you know what? Tony D will take anyone if it makes sense. And I actually think in Apex, if this is the last of the year, the last big one, that to me, this kind of makes sense. So if this happens, who wins? I think it'd be quick. You'd be quick to say that Tony D wins. However, what was Tony D's last battle? Was it Thesaurus? Has Tony D had a battle since Thesaurus? I don't know. I think that might have been his last battle. And you know, the Thesaurus battle was a good battle, but I don't think you could compare that to the work that Kojay's been putting in this year on from the last. I think Kojay's momentum, I actually think Cojay might win it. I know, it sounds crazy, but the momentum that Kojay's on right now, I think that Cojay will be on the ball with it. Like, Cojay will be hitting so many small jabs where Tony D is setting up and landing the haymakers. I think that style going to work for Cojay just a little bit more. So, if I was to say, that's maybe the wildest take. Maybe Cojay beats Tony D. But again, that said, Tony D's so talented that, you know, it's only off of pure circumstance, I think. Any other year than the last year, I think Tony D beats Cojay. But, you know, just the way that Cojay has been the last pocket, he might fuck around the win. Now, Sean Kray. This one, I am almost dead certified on. And this is only because I've been aware, watching the timeline, how people have moved when the announcements have happened and whatnot. In February, Bobby Rex put out a diss track dissing Southerners. Thought, okay, dissing Southerners. And he said it was for a battle that was going to happen in June. Went, okay, battle happening in June. He's versus a Southerner. Let's figure out what's going on here. So,
yo, Bobby Rex, just a quick announcement to announce. Well, I'm not actually allowed to make the announcement. But wait until you see this next Muppet that I'm battling. I am gonna totally and utterly embarrass him. He is so shit that this shouldn't be happening. But Mr. Plug, Trubs and Briggs was fucking adamant. Now I'm stuck with him, but I'm just not a fan of him. I don't want to rap, I want to batter him. This silly southern bastard, I'll flatten him. Put him on his back and I'll make everybody laugh at him. You're fucking with a mank, mate. So fuck a handshake, I'm tapping up a man's face. I'm on a rampage, ranting on your fan page. They say you're very good, but you ain't got a chance, mate. I'm a demigod, I wasn't man-made. I said I'm coming for his neck, he thought I asked him on a Monday. Now I'm trying to mansplain to him, it's a slang phrase. It's like he doesn't know he's fucking with a man craze. I'm turning up to gunfights with a fan blade. Not even a real knife, but I'm always the winner. Did it all in real life, you did it all in your mirror. Wonder what it feels like knowing you're a beginner. The moment you realise that you're for me dinner. See me, I catch huge bodies. I might be the plate, but you're the food on it. And we'll see what's the tea very soon, knobhead. When did Briggsy say it was again? June, wasn't it? June. Yeah, June. I'll see you then. Random battle rapper. I want to smoke your boots, by the way. I'm motivated. I'm pumped. And you're
then
shit.
when Sean Kray was announced as like the 9th competitor in this whole like rollout, Bobby Rex reposts the diss track on the day with the caption, "So now my opponent's been announced." And I don't think that was exactly planned. I feel like that was happening, and then we're going to announce the whole event after every battle rapper, and then decided we're actually not going to do that anymore. We are just going to have the battles announced on the day. So now there's a little bit of a track going, oh, Bobby's already said this, and maybe he shouldn't have. You know, it's not Bobby's fault, because I think this plan, from what I heard, was not last minute, but kind of in the middle of the rollout, they changed it over. So they had so basically Bobby's had a diss track prepared and sent across, or like a freestyle from February that he's kept in his pocket to repost now versus Sean Kray. And it's definitely a diss to Southerners. And for the Southerners that are on the card, he's already battled like Tony D. You know, Gemini's not on the card. The only Southerners that he hasn't battled that are on the card is Ark and Sean Kray. And who was behind Sean Kray through the Frankie Fraser battle? Bobby Clark Rex. That's who was behind him the whole time. And I think Bobby's good at giving the hand up. It's like in wrestling, it's putting someone over. Bobby's very good at that. So just don't be surprised if Bobby's put another battle rapper over. Just don't be surprised. If he wins though, for now, I'm going to say Bobby, because I assume the title's on the line. If the title wasn't on the line, I think Bobby would have a bit of fun with this one like he did with Gastbuff. And I think Sean Kray would probably take this more seriously. But if the title's on the line, Bobby. If it's not, I think Sean Kray's angles will be fucking brilliant. And it'll lay out the picture, but I know that Bobby is so competitive that if the title's on it, it's 110%. Bam! Be interesting to see if that's the battle. I'm going to assume that a title's on the line. 2-1 Bobby Rex. I'd lean more to that than I would that Sean Kray would win. But if the title's not on the line, it's closer than if the title was on the line. But let's go 2-1 Bobby Rex without getting too complicated. Oh, secret battle. Either this is very unfortunate timing, or this is deliberate. This is like the last big battle of the year, right? Last big battle event of Premier Battles in probably the year, because October, November tends to be kind of like the lockdown period of, right, we've got the internationals, we're doing this. So is Gemini and Shorty Horror just releasing diss tracks now? When there's a secret battle. When it's decided that they're not actually going to announce all the battles or announce the whole card. Why the diss track started now when it could have been happening years ago? I think because it's a build up to now. Okay, to add to this, We the Fans, shout out Frank White, We the Fans, sponsors and battle rap. He was talking about possibly having Shorty Horror and Gemini on September. Now, he's been on about this, but I feel like this is a bit of a red herring. I feel like that what this is maybe Frank White's helped a little bit in the battle and just went, okay, this is it. And they've just went, okay, we can do the battle now. And so they're running with it, and maybe maybe the sponsors helped. But you know me, I went straight to the source. So I spoke to Frank. Shout out Frank. I love Frank. Good guy. You know what he told me? He said to me that they're looking to organize the battle and whatnot. Again, he might have been lying to me. Looking to organize it and whatnot, but I have to deal with this cancer first. I'm like, bruh. So I just want to make sure we got that. Yeah, all the best wishes for Frank. What a guy. Yeah, like, fuck battle rap. Get your shit right together first. Salute to you. We'll hope you win it. Hope you win it. So, with that being said, will this happen? Possibly. Is it convenient that they've started doing diss tracks? Yeah. Would it make sense for this battle to be the last battle for Premier Battles if it's like the big event before doing the smaller things and returning in the next year? Yeah, that would make sense. This'll feed us for a long time. So, if it's not that, I'm just going to throw some things out there, right? I'm not going to tell you why, but I happen to know that Kruger will be at the event. I'm not going to tell you why. So, you could fuck around. Kruger has talked about coming back to Battle Rap. He was supposed to be on that the Grind Time card with Disaster and Easy, the block captain. He was supposed to be there with Lunar Sea, and there was supposed to be a battle happening there. He's talked about it. And I don't think it, like, respectfully, his job might not stop him from battling. Well, you could get Kruger and Gas Buff. I know that seems like a total, but you know what? It's a secret battle, so it could happen. And you know, Gas Buff gets everyone. Shout out Gas, I love you. That's my editor. I love you. You know, even Reverse and Kruger. You know that. Just saying Kruger's a possibility. Throwing that out there. But you know, there's other battles that can happen. Black Tea and could be a part of this. Like even like Lazy's on every single big card, and his name's not been brought up once. That could happen. So if I'm to say what could be the secret battle, I just threw Kruger out there for the walls. Like I know he's going to be at the event. I've been talking to him, but. You know, I think Lazy could have a battle. I'm 40% sure on that. And then the 60%, I want to shoot and hope that it's Shorty and Gemini. But they haven't told us it. This is just diss tracks. No one has said it's a battle. So before we jump out the window, let's not get sad when we don't have Shorty Horror and Gemini. Because Premier Battles have not said it. Nowhere have they said it. There's just a secret battle. That being said, let's talk about the rest of the card. I'll do this the hand thing proper now. Bang! Quilliam, the great Quill. There's a good few matches up for him, you know, Quill and Tony D. You know, Quill, Slimbuck, Quill, Maverick, you know, there's good ones. This could be where we get Quill versus Bizzo Bond. This is where we get the ex-champ and ex-champ battling out for second place. I'm not saying that to be like a bit of a dick or anything like that, but you know, the story's there. Like, you can still lean on Don't Flop versus Premier Battles in a battle. It just makes sense. It makes sense. Like, it could be happening. I'm just throwing that out there. And If there's any of these that seem quite likely, that seems quite likely to me. So, if this battle happens, if it's the one that I think the most likely for Quill. Oh, it's difficult. God, I'm gonna go Quill 2-1. Not that I don't think Bizzo can't win. I think when Quill is on one, he's the most dangerous battle rapper in the UK. Possibly one of the most dangerous in the world. When he's on the form that he is on, whether it's versus Vizual, kind of the Marlow first round, like versus Gem before the choke, like beating Arsenal the way that he did, like Quill is one of the most dangerous, and when he's totally on firing all cylinders. We know how crazy Quill can get, and can Bizzo match that? I hope so, but I don't know. So if I'm to say who's going to win this, I think it's going to be Quill. If this is Quill versus Bizzo Bond. Now, there's a lot of battles that Slimbuck could have. Could be Slimbuck and Tony D, Slimbuck and Cojay, Slimbuck and Arc, Slimbuck and Vizual. However, I think this is a #1 contender match for Gem's title. Because there was a little back and forth, not that it's the end of the year, start of the year, about Slimbuck. Between him and Gemini, and Maverick and Gemini, and there's been this little pocket of like, I'm gonna diss you from Newcastle. I'll go to Nigeria. I think it's Nigeria or Ghana. Can't quite remember. I'll go over to where Slimbuck, like his home residency. I'll battle him there. I think he's Birmingham now, actually. Holy shit, it's crazy. And I'll go to Ireland for Viz. He was inside that pocket too. But since Viz has already had a title, and we have the face of Slim, I think this is where we get him versus Maverick to decide who gets the title. Who faces Gemini next? Because that, to me, just makes sense. As this is the last event of the year, last big event, I keep saying that. Maybe it happens in the next year as a big sellout show, Slimbuck Gemini or Maverick Gemini. I just think you're going to have this great heel and face dynamic that's going to be fucking brilliant. It's going to be brilliant. So, if this is the battle, who's going to win? I might be biased. I get it. Whatever, Glazer, whatever. I think that Maverick will win. Just because I know how much of a dick Maverick can be. In Slimbuck, he'll have the crowd on his side and whatnot, but here comes Maverick just popping the balloons that are holding him up. I see the angle, not that I see an angle against Slimbuck, it's just I see Maverick finding a way just to diffuse everything and highlight bars that kind of a similar playbook he did against Whispers. I will buy that battle. Someone get that to me. And in a similar playbook as what was going on with Whispers and Maverick, of going through the material and whatnot. I think 2-1 Maverick. Just off of even the experiences with this crowd over the last 8 years that Maverick's been battling. What happens when a crowd doesn't rock with Slimbuck? What happens then? We don't quite know. And not that this will happen now, but we just don't know. So we're going to have to find out at some point. Some point, maybe Slimbuck says something that isn't as cool as he thought. How does he react? We know how Maverick reacts into difficult crowds. He fucking rises in the pressure. So I'm going to go 2-1 Maverick. Speaking of Maverick, there's another little triangle and little, I want to say on the cusp of top tier between Maverick, Slimbuck, and Kray. I've already said I think Slimbuck and Maverick will probably happen, but I think a lot of the battles that are going to happen from Maverick, I think he'll be main event of. I think Maverick and Cojay is a main event. I think Maverick Arc main event. Maverick Tony D, I think that's a main event. And with a card that we have like this, whether it's Shorty Gemini or half of the battles that we think are on that are going to happen, I think we're going to get Kray and Maverick, because this is the type of shit that Sean Kray will have this ability to paint, you know, the pubman versus the Geordie, you know, and you can play off of the Geordie boys being a bit feminine because they are, respectfully, you know, the stereotype Geordie is the tans, getting the eyebrows done. Oh, you know what I mean? It's a prim and proper. Let's say that to be nice. They're prim and proper boys. And Sean Kray is going to have a lot of fun with that type of angle. But again, it's Maverick again. Just being able to pick an angle and whatnot and showing versatility. But can what Maverick do work when everyone's laughing at you? I don't know. Because Maverick has been strategic enough to pick battles that are not serious, but you know, it's of that tone. It's not of the battle doesn't turn into something that Maverick doesn't expect. And especially with the jokes won't always land for most opponents versus Maverick. Sean Kray can land a lot of jokes and make them hit with clever angles. If that battle happens, I honestly, like I said, I've got my bias for Maverick and I love Sean. I actually don't know who wins that. That's like a 51-49. I may have to say Maverick off experience and you know, being able to be more versatile as a rapper. But that's a very thin line for me to then say that Maverick is going to win by because he's versatile. Sean Kray might fuck around and do it. I'm just saying. I'm trying to take my bias out of it. But for now, I'm going to go Maverick 2-1 if it's Sean Kray and Maverick. So, Cojay was very difficult. And, you know, there's a great argument to say Cojay, Tony D. Right? As I said, I think it could be possibly one of Tony D's matches, you know? But the going through the whole card, he's already battled Ark. He's never going to battle Bobby. In his own words, he's battled Bizzo. I don't think the Maverick battle makes us all the sense now. You know, he's already battled Vizual. There's a good names that he's battled here, and I started whittling them down and picking. I basically was like picking taking away names first, and I was left with a few. And I was left with, it's a rematch. Think it's a rematch? Think it's a rematch. If it's not, I'm very surprised. But with a little bit of history there, Cojay versus Quill. So, these guys were supposed to do a 2-on-2. It's like, but the whole thing fell apart. It was like, so one of them was super underprepared, and the other one was trying to communicate. I can't remember who was at the fault and who was it, but there's a story there to be told about how poorly worked together them two would have been as a 2-on-2. Yet Cojay and Gemini did a fucking incredible performance versus, you know, Jazz and Rum Nitty. I'm very interested to see how this one goes out and what is said, because these are two of a similar ilk. You know, these are similar guys. They've been in the same environments. You know, they've been in many, many cards together. You know, we've had a lot to say about each other's styles. They're friends, but they're frenemies. This has like all the beef, pause, and all the fun parts to it too. Like, it's not serious, but these two will make it very competitive. And this whole card is competitive, to say the least. This is definitely one of these that it's like, oh, no one's here to fuck around. And I think when you start thinking of these people aren't here to fuck around, then you end up with Cojay versus Quill. And that could possibly be battle of the night. Depending on how it goes, that could possibly be battle of the night. Who do I think is going to win? Cojay is great with the momentum right now. Quill is one of the most dangerous battle rappers in the UK. I'll go with Quill because I think Quill can be less cool and over-performative than Cojay. We'll try and keep a sense of decorum. It's like, I've said this before about certain battles where Cojay will try and get the crowd towards him. Quill will be to the crowd. You know, it's easier to get your point across shouting at them in the back than it is for them to expect you to hear you. You know, it's easier to reach out than to lure in a crowd. Let's say that. And I just think the performance pieces from Quill will be incredible. And this is one where he has to rap. the gimmicks ain't all gonna work. This is where he has to rap. So I think it's Quill versus Cojay, and I will go Quill 2-1. So I mentioned it before. Bobby Rex. Mentioned it before about Bobby Rex and the title. And it is Intercontinental. Low key, Bobby Rex versus Slimbuck makes a lot of sense. Low key, Intercontinental. It's the wording. This is low key. This is international. And yes, okay, you could say Bobby is of a higher tier than Slimbuck for now. But you know, this fits the criteria for a title match. It really does. Like really think about that. And it would be competitive as fuck. So for that, I think if Bobby Rex has a battle, I think it's this. I think if I'm to say, like, obviously I've mentioned one or two names that Bobby Rex could have, but if I'm to say what is Bobby Rex most likely, I think Slimbuck. And who wins on this one? Well, it's not difficult. I think it's, when I'm saying it's difficult, I mean that Slimbuck will have a possibility to win this. Like, I'm not going to sit there and go Bobby Rex wash, Bobby Rex destroy, Bobby Rex. I'm not doing that because it seems like it would be the obvious pick for that reason. But you know, like they're both faces. Like whether Bobby likes it or not, he is a face. He is absolutely he's one of the most loved characters in UK battle rap. And is he more loved than Slimbuck right now? And does he have to turn and be a dick to Slimbuck to then get the crowd on his side? I don't know. But I do, in the same argument I said before about versatility, Bobby Rex has that versatility. And I would at least say that Bobby can get into these pockets a lot more. Even like just the way that Bobby puts his words together is very clever. So I'm going to go Bobby Rex 2-1, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if Slimbuck wins. I wouldn't be surprised just because Slimbuck is so talented. But and Slimbuck could have the crowd on his side. But Bobby Rex is a professional and it's for the title. And I think it's the fact that he's got the title now is going to... I'd be hard-pressed to pick anyone that's going to take it from him. Because he's been trying for the title twice with Bizzo Bond and, you know, he's been wanting a title. Now he has it. Try and take that off him. If you walk up to him and take it off of him, you're getting your jaw's broken. So expect that to happen in the battle as well. He's going to have a punch or two if you try and take what is his. So 2-1 Bobby. So the final one that leaves our boy Viz. Why is Viz back? Why is Viz back? You know, Viz, you know, as I said at the very top of the video, Arc and Viz makes sense. And especially for Arc, to me, like it's a new interesting battle, and it's someone that I don't think anyone would expect to see from Arc to give an opportunity, and I think their styles actually fit very well. But now we're talking about why Viz is back. And Viz is back because he's probably got a prize fight. And who would be the prize fight? Fucking Tony D. Of course it's fucking Tony D. Like, Tony D, well, he'll battle anyone, but Tony D picks. If I was a battler for 5 years, retired for 2, and Tony D said, I'm battling you, I want to battle you, I'd be like, yeah, okay, let's get right in. So, clearly something's happened there when we went, okay, we're needing Tony D in the card. Who do you want? Viz, you gonna come back for this one? I know you've already just said it. I know you're a man of your word, but come on. It's Tony D. And he's probably went, you're fucking right, it's Tony D. I think this will be Tony D and Viz. It's just makes sense. Viz has actually battled quite a good amount of these people. Because to me, it was between Viz, Tony D, or Viz and Slimbuck. And I think there's better matchups. Not that there's better matchups, but I think there's matchups that make more sense for Slimbuck. This has to be Tony D. Like, between this one and I think I'm like 60 to 70% sure Slimbuck, or Sean Kray and Bobby Rex. and everything else just sort of falls into the maybe place. Like, this one is the one I'm next certain of that is actually happening. And this will be a great battle. I want Viz to put the pressure on him. I want the shoulder bumps. I want the pressure. Because Tony D's at his best when you put the pressure on him. You know, make him go louder. Make him address the crowd more. Like really put it on him. That's what I want to see moving forward. I want to see this battle. I just want to see. I love the new school, old school battles. I fucking love it. I love it. I'm a sucker for it. It catches me in the hype. It's just one of those things that just gets to me. I'm like, oh, I'm so invested. I have to watch this. New school, old school, rookies versus vets. You know, that kind of, you know, just not even that, but you know, the difference. I like seeing that. But if this happens, I'm gonna have to say Tony D. I am going to have to say Tony D, because, you know, and Tony D is forever reliable. And not to say that Viz isn't. Viz is cold as fuck. And Viz, like, to be in the ring with, part of the battles with Tony D nowadays is not even about winning. It's putting your best shit across and having a great battle with Tony D. Because whether you win or lose, like, the battles that we talk about are the classics and the great back and forths. We don't really talk about Tony D and Nugget. We don't really talk about them. You want the ones you want to talk about. And I think this one's going to be like, holy fuck. Viz put it to him. Like, that it's one of those that it just makes so much sense as a prize fight in a return. In the way that my sweepstakes, another plug-in, sweepstakes, £5 entry, put your name into it. The way that lines up with this just makes sense. So, I'm going to go Tony D 2-1 versus Viz. But it should be a battle. This also could be battle of the night as well. Because Tony, Viz can go, he can go bar for bar with Tony D. Viz really can do that. It's just how often has Viz really had the opportunity because his opponent does something else. Maverick goes into and then Bobby is overly aggressive addressing you. Like, Quill is pulling rabbits out of his ass. When has he really had the opportunity to go for the pen? And I think this one just, you know, Viz gets to show his strength in a battle like this, and this one will be not the most fun, and it's not that it's not going to be competitive, but we're just happy to see this one. We're happy to see it and look forward to a great clash. It doesn't matter who wins this one is just going to be fire. So folks, that is it. Now I've given you 10 predictions. My sweepstake pick is inside them 5. So there's 5 battles in there that I've put in. And I put money in. So if you pick some of these battles and whatnot, maybe I've helped you out, or maybe I've filled in a few spaces for you, whack that in there. Get your tickets as well, because it's selling out. It is a selling out. I'm going to be there and I'm going to be pissed. So please pull up. Could be the last event of the year. Like, last big event. I keep saying that. Last big event of the year. We might not have a plug this year. So this is where we eat and we meet up again. This is where we get everyone together and we have fun. And just get fucking wasted. Well, I will see you there. Cammygbr. Salute.
Anytime you meet me, girl, you know I'm by your side. And I know that you know that I can make it right. I feel just how you feel tonight. Let me do what I can do.